What's up YouTube, it's Barrymore with another Dungeon Hunter Champions videos, and welcome back to my beginner tips video. Today we're going to talk about how to choose your gear. Now there's two different things that you need to look out for, that you need to know whenever you get gear, before you start getting gear. One is which pieces of gear give you flat stats, and which pieces of gear give you percentages, for percentage stats as the main stat. Now what I mean by flat stats and percentages, when you look at, let's look at your helmet, okay? When you look at the helmet, every single helmet as the main stat on the very top stat that you can get has attack, flat attack. It's not a percentage, it's just flat attack. So that's what I mean by flat stats. Now when you look at your, let's say your shoulders, there's percentages. So this one has HP percentage, this one has, let's see, attack percentage, this one has attack speed. That's what I mean by percentages. And let's go back and look at the helmet. So, well, like I said, the helmet is the only one that can get a flat attack, right? When you look at the chest is the only one that can get flat HP. So all of these, no matter how hard you try to get a different kind, they're all gonna have HP on there as a flat stat. Now, when you look at the neck piece, all of them can have defense. They all have defense. Like I said, no matter how hard you try to change it, it's not gonna change. They all have defense. Now, as far as substats go, and that's what I mean by substats, it's the stats right below the main stat that you see here at the bottom. For instance, this defense percentage, the max HP percentage, the flat max HP, the accuracy percentage. Those are your substats. Now those can be percentages, and they can also be flat as well. So you can get defense percent, HP percent, accuracy, sorry, crit rate, crit damage, attack, all that good stuff. So keep in mind, guys, helmet, chest, neck will always have flat stats no matter what you do. Now when you look at the percentages, such as the shoulders, the gloves, and the bracers, all three of these can have attack percent, HP percent, and defense percent. But on top of that, each slot has two different percentages that pertain to them. So when I say, what I say by that is, so you see how this one has HP, attack percent. I don't have a defense one on here, but you can also have defense. But the shoulders can have attack speed and movement speed, and they're the only ones that can have those two main stats on the shoulder. They're the only ones that can have attack speed and movement speed as the main stat. Now when you look at gloves, they're the only ones that can have crit damage, and they're the only ones that can have crit rate on top of their HP, defense, and attack percent gloves. So they're the only ones that can have these two, crit damage and crit rate. Now when you look at bracers, they're the only ones that can have, on top of the HP, defense, and attack, they are the only ones that can have accuracy. Now I think I have accuracy bracers here on my rota. So accuracy percent bracers, and they can also have resistance percent. So each one of these three slots, they all have two other main stats that can pertain to them. Like I said, like the crit rate on the gloves, the attack speed on the shoulders, and the accuracy on the bracers. So very important, guys, keep that in mind. When you're getting gear for your shoulders or your gloves and your bracers, very important that you always have percentages on there, because a percentage is always going to be higher when as a higher level. It's always going to be higher than a flat HP or flat defense. Like, let's say for instance, I have 51% HP shoulders on my rota. If I didn't have, okay, so 51% of 14,000 HP is a little bit over 7,000. Let's say if I had a flat HP on here, even maxed out, I believe the max is about 4,000. So when you look at percentages and you look at flat stats, 7,000 last I checked was more than 4,000. So that's why it's really important that for higher levels you get all these three on percentages, because of the fact that it's going to give you a bigger boost to your overall stat. So always guys, make sure you're getting percentages here. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is sets. Now I know it's very important to have sets, obviously, because they give you a little boost. But when you're beginning out in the game and you're trying to get, you're trying to get sets, but maybe they're not dropping for you as much. Always remember, guys, stats, whether you have the set or not, are always going to be, as long as you're reaching that stat goal that you're trying to get to. So for instance, you're trying to get to Elder Dragon and the minimum is 45,000 HP for your units and 700 defense. As long as you reach that goal of 45,000 HP or 700 defense or 60% accuracy, which is what is recommended, if you don't have the sets, as long as you're reaching that goal, sets does not matter, guys. Obviously, it's gonna be better later on when you start getting more gear and you start getting better, actual sets that come together. Then it's obviously gonna be better. But for starting out, guys, don't worry too much about sets. Just make sure you get the stats needed to be able to get into those dungeons and start farming them for gear or whatnot, or gold or whatever you want. Same goes for your DPS units. Now this one on my Blade Master, I farmed enough so I can get a set for her. But before this, she wasn't on a full rapid set or a full keen set. She was on broken sets. And what I mean by broken is whenever you don't have a complete set, you just have a bunch of different pieces that go into your gear slots, and as long as you're reaching those requirements. So for DPS, you want to make sure you have as high crit rating and as high crit damage as possible, and as high enough HP, enough defense, and enough attack and whatnot. So guys, always make sure you have the required stats before actually trying to get a set. Like I said, you'll be farming more. You'll start getting sets, and then it'll all start coming together, guys. So don't stress too much out if you can't find the right set. Now, last thing I want to talk to you guys about is whenever you get a piece of gear, and let's say you get a blue piece of gear or even an epic or a legendary, the substats that you get depend on the quality of the gear. Well, the amount of substats that you start off with depend on the quality of the gear. So for instance, a white piece of gear or a common will have 0 substats. But every 3 levels that you level up a piece of gear, you do acquire 1 substat. So for instance, on the common piece of gear, you get 3 substat. You get 1 substat at level 3. You get a second substat at level 6, a third at level 9, and then a fourth at level 12. But when you look at the rarity, you also have to look at the rarity of the gear. So for instance, the uncommons will have 1 substat already started with it. The rare, like this blue shoulder, and will have 2, and then the epic will have 3 already, and then the legendaries will come with 4 substats already. Now every 3 levels that you level up a piece of gear, it's gonna increase a substat. Like for instance, I'm gonna level this one up. It's gonna, once I get to level 3, attack percent or crit rate is gonna go up because it already came with 2. So attack went up, and then I level it up to +6. Again, either attack percent or crit rate is gonna level up. So let's get this one up to 6 real quick, and you guys will see. Okay, so crit rate went up right there. Now, if I was to level this up to level 9, it's going to become one of these. It's going to become a purple piece, and it's going to have 3 substats. So when you have 3 substats, when you level up to +9, you're going to get a 3rd substat, and then the same thing goes up whenever you level it up to +12. You're going to get a 4th substat. Now at the end, when you get to 15, instead of another substat leveling up, your main stat is going to get a huge boost up. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so this one. The King Gloves, the crit damage every level goes up to about 3 or 2 depending on the level. I believe it's 3. But whenever I leveled it from 14 to 15, it went up to 65, down from, I think it was like 51 or something. No, I think it was like 56. So it got like a 9% boost, something like that. It gets a huge boost. Instead of it getting the regular 2 or 3, it'll get a huge boost up to the next level. So always keep in mind, guys, rarity of the gear always counts. When you're looking for gear, make sure you're getting the right stats for the right unit. So if you're getting an attack, a DPS unit, and you're trying to gear it up, make sure you're getting either attack percent or attack speed On your gloves, make sure you're getting crit rating, crit damage. On your bracers, make sure you're getting attack percent, or if you need some more survivability, HP percent. On your support units, make sure you're getting enough HP percent so they can survive, so they can be able to support your units when they need to do it. So you can either get HP, defense, accuracy to reach the accuracy cap or whatnot. But make sure, guys, like I said, that you're always getting percentage stats on your shoulders, gloves, and your bracers. You obviously can't change the main stats on the helmet, chest, and the neck, but you can definitely look out for those on the other three. So guys, if you have any questions or if you have any comments, something that I left out or whatnot, please feel free to comment on the section below. If you liked the video, go ahead and leave a like, and I will see you guys on the next video. Have a good one, guys.